Well, that was
Justin,
just in the nick of time.
you beat me to it. Ryan, oh my gosh, it's been so long since we've seen you.
Have I met you before?
Hello, I am Kyle, the host of AWS OnAir. Sorry, I'm still in like this whole
Great to
AI
see
mode.
Great
Yeah,
to
good to
Great to
see you
see you
again.
again, Jasmine.
Ryan. All right. Looks like we have a new friend joining here that might needs to unmute.
Yep.
That was
How's it
AI
going?
taking over. It was actually probably the topic they're going to be talking about, which is differential privacy, right?
Yes.
Privacy was trying to get it down.
Favorite topic.
Favorite topic, and that's why you're here to talk about it. And Ryan, I mean, did you do something new to your hair? It's been such a long time since we've seen you. It's great to have you back.
Great to be back.
How was the clean rooms ML session?
The one last week, it was great. The one about 15 minutes ago, it was wonderful.
Awesome.
We learned about machine learning. We learned about not sharing, but collaborating of data between
Look-alike models.
with like models between two parties that want to make a lot of money, like my drip drop TV shop, t-shirt shop, TV shop.
I heard, Kyle, like you got an idea to make millions of dollars.
Yeah, I did. But it's probably not going to happen. I don't have any aspirations.
Because Jasmine is not ready to collaborate with you?
It's probably because Nick will just take the idea and then run with it. And yeah, he's probably already on it where I can't type on my keyboard. He's like, I'm writing down Kyle's thing.
All right. So with this session, we'll probably try to actually give you one more idea to make even more millions of dollars.
Yes.
Ooh,
I love it.
All right. So this time we're talking about AWS Clean Room's differential privacy. What is that?
I think like before we talk about our capability, like the newly launched capability, I want to take a moment to first explain what differential privacy is. Because see, unlike machine learning, which is actually, like most of us actually know what machine learning is. And this is something, like which I like realized when we started working on this project. And even to actually even give context on, why we started this project, like differential privacy is a mathematical proven technique for data privacy protection. The beauty of differential privacy is it allows aggregate insights. And even while allowing the aggregate insights, it obfuscates the contribution of any possible user right from the underlying data. So it protects the privacy of their users. And like when I started working on this project, the examples which I saw was, one example was US Census Bureau. So recently, US Census Bureau used differential privacy to, like share insights about US population while making sure they're not revealing data about any individual. And recently, like we basically like last year in October, US executive order from President Biden, like mentioned that guidelines on DP, like would be issued by October this year. So these are like very exciting days for folks who are actually, like working on differential privacy. We believe it is actually emerging as one of the strongest form of, like privacy enhancing technologies. And when like and I mean, because I talked so much about, like what differential privacy is and the value of it, I'm sure that an obvious question which you would have in mind is, hey, if this is so cool, then, like why we did not actually hear about this before. So I'll talk about, like what stands between customers and the broad usage of it. So differential privacy is a sophisticated, it basically involves sophisticated maths. Like, like you need to actually understand mathematically rigorous formulas. So it's not actually easy to implement and apply it effectively. And that is why we built AWS Cleanroom's differential privacy, which makes it easy for our customers to apply differential privacy in just a few steps. And, like our customers, like we're actually getting really good feedback from our customers and very excited about it.
You mentioned math, and that frightened me for a moment, but then you followed up with, and we figured it out for you, which makes it feel even better. And so is differential privacy different than obfuscation?
So differential privacy actually involves two concepts. And when we actually say, like obfuscation, what I mean is, like differential privacy introduce controlled amount of randomness,
Hmm.
noise, like different noise, which, like DP experts like to actually say. So differential privacy introduce a controlled amount of noise to obfuscate, like the presence or absence of any possible user from the data set. So that is basically one half, like of the definition of differential privacy. The other half involves privacy budget. And you'll be like, hey, now we have a new concept called privacy budget. So I'll explain, like what we mean by privacy budget and why it is actually needed. Because, so we are adding noise to obfuscate the contribution. But if you're not limiting the number of queries which can be performed on a data set, then the purpose of adding noise can be defeated. Imagine that I'm giving you infinite control, like you can run 100 queries with an individual and then, like 100 more queries without an individual. And what you're doing is you're trying to actually average out the results. And as part of that, even the noise can be averaged out, which means like, hey, like you use differential privacy and each output actually was differentially private, like it had controlled amount of randomness. But then the purpose of differential privacy can be defeated if you're not actually controlling the number of queries. So this is where, like privacy budget comes in. You can think of privacy budget as gas in the tank. So, like I like to actually use this analogy. I'm going on a road trip from, let's say, like SF to LA. I have gas. I can actually see how many miles I can drive with my car, right? And with each mile, a portion of my gas actually will be consumed. Similarly, here you have a privacy budget. Privacy budget, you can think of gas, right? And you're running queries. Queries, you can think of actually miles, right? So each time you run a query, a portion of privacy budget will be consumed. And once the gas is out, which means, like once the privacy budget is exhausted, you cannot run additional number of queries.
Okay. So it looks like one of the questions got addressed, but one of the questions that was in the chat, I want to bring up too. Differential privacy allows to share statistical data, or does it allow somehow collaborators to make their own statistics without having access to the data?
Okay, let me see this. Allows to share.
Yeah, I could jump in there. It's the latter. So with clean rooms, when you're trying to collaborate, the idea is you're trying to run these analyses on the underlying data, on the raw data, without exposing the raw data. So you're running the analysis on that granular data, calculating the statistics, and then we're bringing in differential privacy to make sure you can't infer information about individuals in the data set.
Yeah,
Got it. Okay.
This is actually an interesting question. Differential privacy has multiple applications. You can apply differential privacy for SQL analysis. You can apply differential privacy for machine learning, and for machine learning as well. As part of our first launch, what we have done is we have enabled our customers to use differential privacy for a wide range of complex SQL queries. So, as like we talked about in the first session, we launch AWS clean rooms with the capability to actually like run SQL queries. So in the case of differential privacy as well, we are starting our journey by enabling customers to run SQL queries while utilizing the benefits of differential privacy.
So in also the previous segment about not machine learning. Well, it was about machine learning, so I'm not wrong, but I'm also not right. SQL is being used. Is there a way to do like natural language to query this data, or maybe that's something out of scope for today's conversation? Or is it like ANSI SQL, T SQL? There's so many SQLs out there, right? So I'm sure someone technical in the audience is like, what's SQL? What's
Well,
SQL?
Kyle, see, with generative AI and see, like everybody is like, hey, like I want to use the benefits of generative AI, right? And this is something, like we are planning. It's like we want to actually add more functionalities, more features to make it even more easier for our customers to use, like AWS Cleanroom's capabilities.
Squirrel.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So Cleanrooms the Cleanroom SQL functionality is based off common SQL dialect. So the tools you're used to using for working with SQL, even a lot of those really exciting translate natural language to query LLM tools will be compatible with AWS Cleanrooms.
Yeah.
And
just
the
for
differential privacy feature as well.
And to set the record straight with the audience, for those that pronounce SQL SQL or squeal, you probably pronounce AMI as AMI. So anyway, shots fired. So
this is fun. We're talking about differential privacy on AWS Clean Rooms. But if you are just joining us, this is AWS On Air. We have a live chat going. I'm one of your hosts, Jasmine. This is Kyle. We are with Ryan and Amit from our AWS Clean Rooms team. And it is our favorite time of the show. And does anybody know what time that is?
what time is it?
It is demo time. So we want to show off what it is that you've been working on. Let's see it in action.
Show me the demo.
Awesome.
Whoa, now I'm up
So
here.
Here again, I have 2 AWS accounts to show both sides of collaborating using AWS Cleanrooms. This first account in light and a second account with a dark background. I'm going to start in this dark background account. The first thing I'm going to do is show you how you set up AWS Cleanrooms differential privacy. And then I'm going to show you a little bit of how querying with the service works. So I've already created a collaboration. A collaboration links together 2 or more AWS accounts, and it's a way for them to make data available or ML models available for use in analytics. You can only work within the boundaries of that collaboration. You can't take the data sets out. So what I'm going to do here is create what we call a configured table. This is a data set that is maps to an underlying set in my account. Here I'm going to select users, I'm going to allow all of the columns to be used, and create a new configured table. Then I'm going to create an analysis rule. Analysis rules specify how the data can be used. We have lots of different types of controls that can be put on place. I'm going to focus on the differential privacy features today, but I encourage you to check out our previous AWS OnAir session or our website to learn more about the types of controls you can put in place. I'm going to turn on differential privacy. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is where actually you discover, like users actually discover about differential privacy capability.
So once I've chosen to turn on differential privacy, I specify the column that corresponds to my users, whose data is going to be protected. Typically, you're going to be protecting data about users, but you could conceivably have data about companies and you wanted to obfuscate individual companies in your data set or other units of privacy. Once I've done that, I'll specify the types of rules. In this case, I'm specifying who can run queries. I'm specifying that light colored account. And with that, I've finished setting up the table level specifics. Now I'm going to join this table to the collaboration. There's a many-to-many relationship. You don't have to go through this setup process every time. Rather, you can associate the same data sets to many collaborations. Typically, you're going to have a collaboration for each partner you're working with. All right, now that I have finished that association, I'm going to configure the differential privacy settings. There are 2 settings that come into play here when I'm setting up differential privacy. The budget, which Amit talked about, and the noise that's added to the query.
Right.
Yep. So this is the gas tank. And this is effectively, this is the noise that's added to each query. You can think of it as how fast you're burning gas.
Right.
Depending on your privacy goals. Go ahead.
Afterburners versus just cruising. Got it.
Right.
Yeah. So whether you're going to be in economy mode or turning on the
Speeding down the HOV lane.
Sport
Not that I've ever
mode.
done that.
So here, let's say I set it to have 25 users worth of noise. And here you can see updating the number of queries that can be run before I've fully consumed that gas is updated in real time. So if I choose really a lot of noise, I can run a lot of queries, little noise, only a few queries. So I'll select this based on my privacy goals. Once I've selected these settings, I'll hit configure, and now it's ready to be queried. I'm going to jump into the first account that I'm querying from. And here I can see the tables that are available. I can see the remaining budget. So how much of the gas I've used, how much I have left. And I can see a few queries. Let me see if I can shrink that to fit everything on a page. So if I just run a query on this table, I have email, a state, and then I have a couple different columns that both columns have an average of 1,000. So when I calculate, when I do a count, I can see there's 10,000 emails in this data set. When I look at these averages, I can see they're right about 1,000.
Yep.
This
and
is a
while we're
data
looking at
set
the table,
without differential privacy.
Can we limit table access? Like, in my opinion, I was going to say it's going to be very similar to like access control you would have in like Glue or Athena, right? So the differential privacy is just adding the noise, the sauce, so to speak, right? But then like all the other access controls that you're afforded by the other services that are downstream is same.
Yeah, so not only does Cleanrooms let you put access controls on the table level, on the column level, things like that, it lets you do specify things like specific templates, or you can have what we call analysis rules, where you can specify what columns can be used for joining versus what columns can be used for selecting, all kinds of sophisticated controls.
Thank you.
So looking at another query, if I choose to look at the DP enabled version of this data set, so same underlying data, two sets of rules for how it's accessed. Here I can see there's some noise. This is a little different than 10,000. These are close, but not quite 1,000 each. If I go and look at another time that I have run this query, I can see those numbers change a little bit. This was a little under 1,000 last time. It's a little over. So there's the noise here that's preventing me from learning anything about individual users.
Yeah. So the variation in
this example, I'm querying a single table, which is all well and good. But where Cleanrooms really gets interesting is when you're joining together data from the two accounts. So I have two tables from different accounts. I can run these queries, and I know that dark background account, that data is protected with differential privacy. So even if I added say where rules, I wouldn't, and ran this
Seems
query.
like a lot of people have an email at that domain.
My favorite domain to have emails at. It would help if I could write valid SQL, which was why I cooked these all up ahead of time, except for this
is why we needed to do the demo dance, and that's I did a disservice to you, Ryan. We should have done the demo dance. It's a common theme.
Demo dance,
if we don't
drum
do it,
roll.
yeah.
And if we ask people in the chat, they'll help us out. So
that's
next
true.
time you got to know that.
Yeah. So where's my SQL friends? Or
yes.
Fine.
So now the query is running, but I won't be able to actually figure out if this user is present in the data set because noise is being added to safeguard the data set that's being
I
shared.
just imagine your query running down a hallway and someone going, sorry.
Nick is in the back throwing things at us, so we have reached the end of our demo here. Amit, tell us what we left out. Anything you want to leave the audience with?
Well, I think the key takeaway is, like we want our customers, our users to actually try this new functionality. As I said, like the number one job for us was to make it easy for our customers to use differential privacy. So we want, like our viewers, users, customers to actually try a new capability, give us feedback. We will be actually sharing some resources, like which our viewers can actually see offline regarding, let's say, like our user documentation, our news blog, and many other things actually which we recently published, right? And we have this demo. So we will be actually sharing these resources, and we look forward to receiving feedback from our viewers.
Awesome.
Love it.
Thanks for indulging us. That was so fun. SQL, SQL, squeal.
Sweet.
Thanks. Yes. Yeah.
Of course. Happy Friday.